Can you now see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Now, in the next one, we are going to compute for the principal. I keep on telling you again and again that I don't want too many formulas. So we'll still base on this formula. But if you want to make some derivation of this formula, you can also do that. Now, for example, if the missing is the principal, then we can divide both sides by 1 plus I to the power of n. So divide both by 1 plus I to the power of n. So if you're looking for the principal, our formula can be future value or the maturity value all divided by 1 plus I to the power of n. Or remember, in our law of exponents, once you place this in the numerator, the exponent will change its sign to the other way. So for example, this can also be solved by f times 1 plus I to the power of negative n. They will have the same answer. Now, let's start. Let me first clear this up. Sorry, I'm just doing the annotation, so I need to clear each of the slide every now and then. Let's have problem number 1. What amount must be invested now in savings account earnings? 9%, that is our nominal interest, computed quarterly. So what will be RM? RM is, what's the value of RM? It's compounded quarterly.
4. 4, ma'am.
4, ma'am.
So accumulate a total of 21,000. What is this 21,000? What is 21,000 here?
Face
Maturity
value,
value.
ma'am.
Not the face value.
Maturity value. Maturity
Yeah.
value.
Yes, I know you mean the F, but the F means maturity value. Remember that the face value is the same as the principal. After 4 and 3/4 years, that's our time. So anyone can tell me what is our periodic interest? What's our periodic interest?
0.0225.
Very good. That's J over M. So 0.09 divided by 4, that's 0.0225. How about our N? What is our N? What is our N?
19.
Okay, so we multiply M times T. M is 4, since it's compounded quarterly, times 4 and 3/4, 4.75. Then the answer will be 19. Now let's solve for the principal. I prefer the one with the division. 1 plus I to the power of n. So our F is 21,000. Divide all by 1 plus I to the power of n. Our principal will be 13,759.93. This was the amount being invested. Any questions? There are no other questions? Okay, I'll give you time to do the second problem. Ready? 2 minutes. Start.
Ready, ma'am.
Let me read the problem while you're solving it. Mrs. Surug wants to provide a 200,000 graduation gift for her daughter, Sophia. She is now 16 years old and she would like the fund to be available by the time she is 20. She decides on an investment that pays 10% compounded quarterly. How large must the deposit be? Let me start labeling while you keep on solving for your answers. The 20,000 is the future value. That's the maturity value. 16 years old, it should end by 20 years old. So our time is 4 years. At 10%, that's our nominal rate. Compounded quarterly, so our M is 4. It means 4 quarters in a year. Can you share with me what's the value of your I, of your periodic interest rate?
So, follow me, I please.
0.025.
0.025. Very good. That's J over M. So 0.10 divided by 4, that's 0.025. Very good. Thank you, chat. How about our N? How many compounding periods are there?
16.
16. Very good. That's M times T. So 4 compounded quarterly times 4 years. We have 16 compounding periods. Let's solve for our principal. That's F over 1 plus I to the power of N. That will be how much money? 200,000 over 1 plus 0.025 to the power of 16. What's your answer for the principal? How much should Mrs. Sarug place as a deposit?
$134,000.
134,000. What's next?
724.9867.
9867. But remember, we only have money. So 2 decimal places. Let's have 0.99. Well, thank you so much. That is the answer. Any questions? No questions. Let's go to the next one. Ready? Let's go to the third problem. A person can buy a piece of property for 6,500,000 pesos cash. Or the other option is there will be a down payment of 4 million, and after 5 years, I'm here. What's different in what's interesting in simple and compound interest is you just pay the whole amount at the end of the period. You don't make, other than the down payment and the next period, you don't make any payments on this one, or else it becomes an annuity, the next lesson. So in here, the option 1 is we pay 6.5 million in cash. And the other option is we pay 4 million down payment and 4.2 million after 5 years. But remember that this person will not pay 4.2 in 5 years. Instead, this person will place a money in the bank that earns 8% converted quarterly, and that amount will turn into 4.2 million in 5 years. Now, which is better purchased? Plan A or Plan B? Now, let me start solving on this one. Let us solve for this 4.2 million. How much money was invested for it to earn 4.2 million in 5 years? So let's have, this is our J. Nominal interest is 8%. Converted quarterly, so our M is 4. Let's first solve for the principal. Because again, we don't give 4.2 million after 5 years. Instead, we save this time and we'll get 4.2 million later. So we have our I is J over M. That's 8% divided by 4 quarters in a year. That's 0.02. Our N is M times T. That is quarterly times 5 years, you have 20. Let's solve for the principal. F over 1 plus I to the power of N. That's going to be 4.2 million divided by 1 plus I to the power of 20. So it means that that person will place a principal of 2,826,479.60 pesos in the bank. And this money will turn into 4.2 million in 5 years. But remember, there was a down payment of 4.2 million, right? Down payment. So in all, the person paid, you add all, that person, 4 million, a 4.4 million down payment. That person paid 6,826,479.60 compared to 6.5 million in cash. So which is a better purchase plan? Of course, the cash, the one with a spot cash, they say. And by how much? We'll subtract the two. The difference is you can save as much as 326,479.60. And please edit your notes because in the notes it says 3 million down payment. But in the procedure, it was already 4 million down payment. Actually, this is the same for practical application, okay? Usually this time when you want to buy cell phones or laptops, we are allured by home credit. In the Philippines, it's very common. You can earn this one, you can have this through home credit. But you know, as mathematics majors, we need to compute how much is the cash price. How much will be, because there's a down payment and the monthly payment, how much will that be after 1 year or after 2 years? Practically speaking, I don't like loans, but home credit is useful to me, especially when I don't have any money. And also when the difference is only by 500 pesos. But for example, if the cash is 32,000 and with this one, you will pay about 40,000, I don't think it's practical. I'm not sure if, have you tried being called by home credit for a cash loan, like offering a 20,000 or 50,000 cash loan? You must learn to compute the interest. I had an offer before, it's at 50,000 cash loan, but then when I computed it, I will pay about 70,000 for a year. You imagine the 20,000 difference. So before you jump into home credit offers as mathematics majors, you need to compute first how much will be the difference and is it practical or not? Now let's go to the next problem. In the next type of problem, we will solve for the interest paid. Remember that the interest paid is future value, the maturity value, minus the principal. So let's compute. You do first number 1. Find the interest earned at the end of 4 years. That's our time. If 36,700, the principal is invested at 12%, the nominal interest rate compounded bi-monthly. It means once in 2 months. So our M is 6 times in a year. We still need to compute for the future value because it's not available. So our interest rate is J over M. That's 12% divided by 6. That's 0.02. Our N is M times T. Bi-monthly times how many years? 4 years. It will give you 24. Let's compute for the future value. That's principal times 1 plus I to the power of N. 36,700 times 1 plus I. Our I is 0.02 to the power of 24. Let me first check. Okay, that's good. So our future value is 59,029.65. This is our future value. But again, we are computing for the interest. So we subtract 36,700. This is the principal. Subtract them. You will have 22,329.65. This is the interest earned of your investment at the end of 4 years. Imagine if this is a loan, that's not practical for me, frankly speaking. Any questions? No questions? Now it's
No,
your
ma'am.
time. Let's go to problem number 2. It's your turn to solve. Okay, start solving. I'll read the problem. Celeste Saron paid 8,600 on a loan made 2 years before at 6% compounded bi-monthly. Find the interest generated. Let me start labeling. Paid 8,600. So this is our future value. Our time is 2 years. Our nominal rate is 6%. Our M is bi-monthly, so 6. Can you share with me what's the value of your I? What's your periodic interest rate?
0.01, ma'am.
0.01, very good. It's J over M. 0.06 divided by 6. That's 0.01. Can you share with me what's the value of your N? Compounding periods. What's the value of your N?
12.
12. That's 2, bi-monthly, 6 times 2 years. So we have 12. Okay. So let's start solving. We're looking for the principal, right? We didn't know how much the principal is. If you have your answers, feel free to share it with me.
9,690, ma'am. 0.70.
I think the error, Vince, was you treated this as principal.
Tama di ay mali di ay baliktad.
Mali. O, baliktad siya, di ba? Because Saron paid 8,600 already. So it means that this was already the payment with interest. So we're looking for the principal. How much was the loan? Any other answers?
$7,632.06, ma'am.
Oh, very good. 7,632.06. I'll just write it incomplete. Yes, this is the principal. But again, we're looking for the interest generated. So interest is equal to maturity value minus the principal. I keep on asking, why is it F when it's the maturity value? So I want to name it future value, okay? So it's easier for me to determine. That's 8,600 minus the principal. So our interest is 967.94. That's the answer. Now let's go to the next one. Okay, let's go to finding for the compound interest rate. Now, here's what's very interesting with the compound interest rate, because actually it's the J, right? It's the nominal rate. So how do we solve for that? We can use the main formula. Let me start. Example. The maturity value of a 5-year, our time is 5 years, 7,000 compound interest. So it means that this is our principal, was 9,427.99. This is the maturity value. So it's our F, the future value. What quarterly? So our M is 4. Compounded nominal interest rate. We're looking for our J. Did the investment certificate earn? Now with this one, you cannot solve for I, right? Because your I has the J on it. So I suggest you write it in full. F equals P times 1 plus, it should be I, right? But I is equivalent to J over M. So you can write it as J over M to the power of N. Okay, our N is M times T. That's 4 times 5 to the power of N. Now, if we are looking for J, let me first convert the formula, okay? Or here, you can solve it immediately to avoid any other formulas. I keep on telling you, in the board examination, you need to memorize all formulas. So you need to keep as little formulas as you'll have. So you don't keep on memorizing everything. To the power of 20. Here, if you have formulas like this, you start with the numerical coefficient, the 7,000. So divide all by 7,000. But here's another clue that I'm going to tell you. Do not divide it immediately, or else you'll have a trouble with the decimals. And in the board exam, the decimals are very close to each other. Next, you have here an exponent of 20. So to get rid of the exponent 20, we need to find the nth root, the 20th root of both ends. So with the 20th root, we now cancel our square, the exponent. Then transfer 1 to the other side. So we now have the 20th root of 9,427.99 over 7,000 minus 1. Because of this one, we transfer. Then we have over 4, right? it means you multiply the whole answer by 4. That is the answer for your J. Now, if you're using a 2-line calculator, you start here inside. Divide both, then the answer, you see in your calculator, you have ans. That will be a very big help. It means it will copy all the previous. This one, then the ans, 20th root, and enter again, -1, then end it with times 4. Let me first check. Sorry, I could not stop my screen sharing this time. Times 4. That will be the J. Do not stop with your calculator unless you'll get the answer. The answer is 0.06, or that means 6%. So the nominal interest rate is 6%. Questions? No questions? Let's go to the next one. Okay. I'll guide you in the process. So you need to unmute your microphones and tell me what's next. Mrs. Milagros Fernando paid 16,000. What is this one?
Principal.
Principal. Wait first. For a 24,177.10 face value. What is this?
Maturity value.
Very good. The maturity value, or F. Having 6 years, that's our time, remaining until maturity. What semi-annually? What will be our compounding period?
2.
2, very good. Compounded rate of return will she earn on her investment? Now, can you share with me what's the value of your N?
12.
12, because that is M times T. 2 times 6, that's 12. Now, again, to avoid any other formulas, we write the main formula. But our I is J over M. So the power of N. So we have 24,177.10 equals 16,000 times 1 plus J is missing over M to the power of 12. Now tell me, what will you do next? What will you do next?
Divide
Divide both sides by
16,000.
principal.
16,000. Very good, by the principal. Next, what's next? What should we do next?
Get kuan.
Yes.
Dapat wala na to ang exponent, ma'am.
Okay, how do we get rid of the exponent?
Square root.
Oops. If you say square root, it means the index is 2. The exponent is 12.
12.
12.
12
Oh,
root.
the 12th root. Okay. The proper way to say it, math majors, the 12th root.
12
We
root.
find, or sometimes we say, we extract. That's another term. We extract the 12th root. So the exponent 12 is now canceled. What's next? What do we do next?
Ikuan ma'am tong
Transfer the
to -1.
Okay, -1. So i-transfer ang 1. This one will be transferred. -1. Okay. We still have J over 2. What will you do next?
Times 2.
Okay, you multiply all in the left hand. Well, you say left hand side by 2. So that your right hand side will only have J left.
J.
Sige. Use your calculators now. What is the interest rate? What's the nominal interest rate?
7%.
7%. Very good. 0.07. Or that is 7%. Very good. Now let me stop my recording.